main event, ah, check muna tayo ng ating, check muna natin yung market, if meron ba tayong opportunities, ano ba ang behavior ng market ngayon, and also kung meron ba tayong inaabangan na high impact news. Okay? Lalo ngayon, Friday, last trading of the week. So, yung magko-conclude ng ating linggo. So, tingnan natin kung meron ba tayong what do you call this? Meron ba tayong opportunity, market opportunity? Okay, let me just share my screen. Ano ba to? Share screen. Pa-volume ng konti, hindi daw marinig. Hindi marinig? Okay. Sige. Ilapit ko lang yung aking... Ayoko kasi nung headset. Meron ako dito yung headset na parang ganun, pero parang ang jahe kasi. Okay. Check muna natin yung Forex Factory if meron tayong news ngayong gabi. Forex Factory. Alright. So, today it's Friday, May 15. Okay, wala naman tayong high impact news. Lahat naka-yellow. So, wala masyado. Or wala tayong inaabangan na high impact news. Pero ano ang news ba kagabi? Tingnan natin. Or kahapon. Okay. We have core retail sales and retail sales. Check natin. Okay. So, nasunod naman yung mga forecast niya. And I think lumakas ang dollar. I think lumakas ang dollar kasi per checking kanina mababa yung gold. So, I think nag-recover ang dollar, US dollar. Okay, we don't need to Strait of Hormuz open. Iran foreign minister, we are trying to keep the ceasefire to give diplomacy a chance. Pansin niyo ba, ngayon parang hindi na ganun kaingay. Unlike before, hindi na ganun kaingay yung Ukraine, sorry, Iran and US. Kasi yung mga statement na ganito, mostly mga ano na lang siya, FUD or to manipulate na lang the market. Unlike before na talagang nagre-react ang market violently. But right now, so-so na lang. Makita man tayo ng makita man tayo ng reaction is hindi na ganun ka-drastic. Okay, so I think dahil sanay na yung market, the market is has already adjusted. Okay, nakakapag-adjust na yung market sa timpla nito ni Trump. Okay, but still ongoing pa rin yung conflict, and kita niyo naman apektado tayo. As mga normal citizen are pretty much affected dahil nga meron tayong rotational brownout, 'di ba? Nagkukulang na yung ano natin. Kulang na yung sabi ng NGCP. Kailangan na nilang mag-rotational brownout. Sir Elmer, magandang gabi po. Okay, so check natin ang technical analysis. Let's go sa gold. So ito yung sinasabi ko kanina that the dollar right now ay nagre-recover, umaangat, lumalakas ulit. Last time, 'di ba? Kailan ba? Last week, makita natin yung kanyang pag-pullback. But right now, bakit ito gold is bumababa? Kasi nga, dollar is strengthening. Lumalakas ang dollar ngayon. Ayan. So, kontrahan yan. Actually, if you are trading gold, ano lang siya, very straightforward lang siya. Kapag mahina ang dollar, lumalakas ang gold. Pag lumalakas ang dollar, humihina ang gold. Okay? So kahapon or kagabi, I think we're here. Ayan. And tinamaan niya naman yung mga key levels natin. And actually, ito yung binabantayan nating level, 4,650. Ayan, yung level na yan. And ayan, meron tayong clean breakout. Okay? So, two scenario kung nandito man po kayo. I think si Sir Narciso lang po yung nandito kagabi. So, ang binabantayan natin dito sa baba is of course itong 4,650. Andiyan tayo kagabi, most probably. Sabi ko nga, yan ang punta niyan. Iti-test yung level na yan. Alternative scenario, if the price naman breaks this level, 4,727, dito natin makikita. Pero ito ang meron tayo ngayon. Karon tayo ng breakdown dito, break. Then right now, approaching siya doon sa inilagay din natin na support or binabantayan nating support. So, ganyan po ang itsura niyan sa higher time frame. So, I think meron tayong nakikita ditong buying opportunity. Yan. So, I think sasaluhin siya nitong ating support, 4,506. Now, buying interest, andito yung buying interest natin. Palapitin lang natin, mamayang New York session siguro. Okay, ngayon, pumaaga pa naman, 6:25 p.m. Palapitin lang natin ng konti. Pumasok siya dyan sa box, then we execute our buy position. So, bakit natin naantayin dyan? Para maging maganda yung ating risk to reward ratio. Para yung stop loss natin is hindi din ganun kalaki. Kung pumasok siya dyan sa box, o stop loss mo dyan lang sa paglabas niya ng box. Because if it breaks, hindi yan na-hold, meaning to say, pababa talaga siya. At nandito ang kanyang next target. Yan. Ito nung level ng 4,334. But then again, I think, magkakaroon ng struggle dito sa 4,500. Yan. May mga buyers na nakaabang dyan. Okay? Bakit? Dahil, well, ang movement ng gold ngayon ay ano pa rin, I would say na nasa ranging position pa rin siya or nasa ranging trend pa rin. Between dito pa rin. Ba for how many? For 2 months na. Simula tayo nung March 23. March, April hanggang May. I think andyan lang yan. Baguhin natin. Yan. Sabi ko nga, etong ranging na to, pwedeng magtagal to ng ilang buwan. Okay, kahit dahil nga last na nakita natin yung ranging na yan, nung 3,500 pa lang ang gold, ranging lang siya between 3,500 hanggang 3,100. So, ganun lang yung movement niya for 6 months. So, ang babantayan natin na level is between, ito, yung resistance natin, 4,898 o sarado mo na 4,900. Then, ayan, yung kung nasan ngayon ng price, 4,500. Worst, mabreak ang 4,500, then i-retest itong 4,300. Then, possible akit na naman siya. Okay, to retest again yung 4,858. Then, after nyan, baba ulit. Kaya hanggat wala tayong nakikitang breakout sa any of the major resistance and support natin, so saan ba yan? Ito, resistance, support. Okay, support. Or kung medyo ano ka, conservative ka, o idamay mo tong 4,138. And I think sa mga susunod na buwan, maglalaro-laro lang tayo dito. Kasi nga, sabi ko nga kanina, hindi na nagre-react ang market. Hindi na nagre-react ang market kagaya last time, no? Yung mga announcement ng Trump like the tariff, the war, hindi nga natin nakita. Ina-expect natin that the gold will go higher, much higher, no? Sa kanyang all-time high na 5,600, but hindi 'yun nangyari. Pumutok na't lahat ang ano, um, the Iran versus the US war has already started, but we are anticipating much higher price of gold, but hindi siya nangyari. It didn't happen. So I think magtatagal pa to hangga't walang bago sa mga naririnig natin, no? Unless magkaroon ng miracle for some reason, Iran and US ay magkaroon ng ano na, truce or long-lasting truce. Okay na yung war nila, nabuksan na yung Strait of Hormuz and all, then I think lalabas tayo sa level ng in this level. But until then, if no major news, okay, hangga't wala masyadong or walang iba doon sa naririnig na natin, and I think maglalaro ang gold between ano lang diyan sa binabantayan natin na level. Okay? So good news 'yan para sa ating mga scalper kasi alam mo na agad. Wag lang kayo malito sa mga drawing na yan kasi hindi ko binubura yung mga previous analysis natin para mabantayan natin yung ating mga nilalagay na key levels. Okay? So, sa ngayon, may nakikita akong buying opportunity. Papasukin lang natin. Let's just wait for the price to go inside this box. This box. So, anong level ba yan? 4,530 hanggang 4,480. Okay? Then, we set our buying ano dito. Buying positions dito. Okay? Next, we have Bitcoin. Let's see. Bitcoin, may nagtatrade man ng Bitcoin, BTC, again, walang reason ito to go further, to go higher. There's no reason because fundamentally speaking, right now, the cryptocurrency market is currently nasa bearish market. Bearish market na po ang crypto ngayon. Okay, katatapos lang ng halving 2 years ago, 2024. Then possible lumakas ulit or magkaroon ulit ng bull run sa crypto market next halving which will happen 2 years from now, 2028. Halving. But I would say that this run from 63,000 all the way to 82,000, this is a dead cat bounce. Ingat po. Okay, be mindful if you are buying this in this level. No, what you should look for is a selling opportunity. Selling opportunity, you can enter between in this level if ayan, currently the price is currently at our selling interest. Selling level yan. Okay, targeting lang the 62,000 level, TP1 and TP2 at 48,000 level or 50. Kung medyo ano nga naman, medyo mataas, malayo nga naman ang 48,000. But 48,000 is, I would say, reasonable because it's a key level. Anong key level yan? Key level yan because of this. Yan. Major support. This is a major support. So, possible, reasonable ang 48,000. Then again, hindi siya mangyayari overnight. This won't happen overnight. It might take us months. Okay, months. But this will happen. Okay? Mangyayari yan. Malaki ang possibility na i-test talagang ang 48 or 50,000 level. So, meron tayong selling opportunity. Yan dito. Selling ano na yan. Pumasok na dyan sa fair value gap. FBG kasi ng weekly yan eh. We're going to check the weekly time frame. It's an FVG, fair value gap. Yan, nakuha siya dyan, then we are anticipating that the price will push lower all the way to 62,000. If it doesn't hold, then we might see the price of Bitcoin here at $48,000 dollars per Bitcoin. Next, we have USD Yen. Yan. For USD Yen, nakita na natin merong drop. Still, bearish pa rin ako dito. I would say bearish pa rin ang bias ko. Kaya lang, yun nga, naabutan tayo ng naabutan tayo or maabutan tayo ng stop loss. But ito, kailan ba natin to sinalang? Ayan, May 12. Kailan to? Monday or Tuesday? So, yun nga, I think, ito lang ang pupuntahan yan, 158. Okay? That's the worst price para mag-correct. So, I think it's a correction. Correction lang yan. Kasi nga, meron kang drop. Meron kang mahabang drop. So, ayan, ano yan? Malaki yan. 500 pips. 500 pips yung drop niyan. But still, hindi pa tayo tapos. Yung drop na yan ay maliit pa. Meron pang isusunod na drop yan. Meron pang susunod na drop yan. Kasi nga, nagpapahiwatig na naman ang Japanese government that they're going to intervene again. Or actually, etong drop na to, this is just a rumor. Rumor pa lang yan that the Japanese government will finally intervene sa kanilang forex sa kanilang forex market. Okay? And yun nga, if finally the real intervention happens, then we might see the price of USD/JPY at 152, the level 152. If it doesn't hold, sorry, 152, ayan, 152 hanggang, ayan, major support. Then, kung hindi yan ma-hold, pakita natin dito. Ito ulit, 145. Kung hindi ma-hold ulit, hindi yan ma-hold, pwedeng dito sa 2025 support niya. Si support kasi ng 2025 yan, itong 140 level. Hindi lang yan, support din yan support din yan ng 2024. Support din yan ng 2023. Okay? So, possible, dyan ang punta niyan. So, meron ka na namang selling opportunity. Una sa Bitcoin, selling opportunity din ulit para sa USD Japanese Yen. Okay? US 30, Dow Jones. Dow Jones Industrial, sabi ko noong nakaraan, di ba? Though nagpapakita ng strength ito, so it's for me, it's too late na to buy. Kasi nga, nasa all-time high ka na, approaching na siya sa all-time high. And most of the time, pinifeel lang yan. Okay, what do you mean by pinifeel? O, kukuha lang siya dyan, then, down. Retest. Kuha lang ng ito, or baka, ayan, rejection na nga yan. So, tingnan natin sa mamaya kung ano ang maging behavior nito. So, kung nandito rin kayo nung last webinar natin, tinuro natin or diniscuss natin yung AMD strategy, accumulation, manipulation, and distribution. So, tingnan natin kung meron tayong masisilip or makukuha na opportunity using that method. Okay, tanggalin ko muna tong VWAP. Session. Lux algo. 30 minutes tayo. Silipin lang natin kung meron tayong makita. Okay. Accumulation, usually nangyayari during what? Anong session? Nangyayari ang accumulation during Tokyo. Yan, accumulation siya. Then, manipulation. Ano ibig sabihin ng manipulation? Deviation from the range. 'Di ba? For entire Tokyo session, ayan lang siya, oh. Ranging lang siya. So that's your accumulation. Then, deviation from the range, nagmanipulate dito. Kung ito na yung manipulation, ha. Kung ito na yung manipulation sa dyan. Then, distribution pataas. Distribution pataas, kuha lang siya dito. Now, kung ano mo siya, kung i-scalp mo siya, pwede mong i-scalp. Pwede mong gawing entry position 'yan, long position. Take profit dito sa 52,000. Huwag mo lang ibababad ng trade. Check natin yung volume. Kung meron na ba? Meron na bang traction or baka pinaglalaruan lang tayo ng market? Volume. Okay, so ngayon wala pang activity, no? So antay pa tayo siguro mga pagpasok ng Asia no, sorry, ng New York session. Kasi it's I would say it's too early kung papasok pala tayo. It's too early. Wala pa tayong confirmation. Unless, unless dalawang senaryo, makita natin na magkaroon ng break this level, maglaro ang price dyan, then we might enter and target this high, 50,000. Now, kung magkaroon man ulit ng pullback, i-test ito. I-test itong level na to. Then, ayan, ano yan? New York low kahapon ba? No. Nung nakarang araw. New York low nung nakarang araw. Kung matest man yan, edi better. Okay? But for now, I think it's too early pa to enter. Oil. For the oil, galin natin tong 4 hours. Tingnan natin 4 hours. Okay, hindi nasunod yung gusto nating mangyari that magkaroon ng pullback. Nagkaroon naman ng pullback, no? Pero ito lang, kagabi. Hanggang dito lang yung pullback niya. But 104 na, kung tinetrade mo man tong oil, 104, hindi na siya magandang level to enter a buy position dahil nasa gitna ka ng resistance and support. Basta ang tatandaan lang natin lagi na key levels for oil is 117 hanggang 117 resistance and 85,000 $85 per barrel. Yan ang ating support. So, either lang sa dalawa, kung malapit sa resistance, kung makita natin ang price niyan dito tayo magsisell. And nung nakaraan, malapit dito. Kaya lang, ang akala ko kasi, sasagad pa siya dito sa 85,000. Pero ang ano niya na lang pala is 90. But then again, malapit na. Kaya ko lang hindi kinonsider yung opportunity kasi masyadong malayo pa. Kung magka-cut kasi ako, medyo malayo. Okay? So, ang inaantay kong setup is talagang pumasok siya dyan sa box. Okay? So, disclaimer lang na sa may mga setup tayo na tinitingnan na hindi siya nangyayari based sa kung ano yung gusto natin. Halimbawa, ayan, I want the price to go inside this box pero hindi ganun yung gustong gawin ng market. Okay? Pero okay lang 'yun, 'di ba? Hindi ko pinanghinayangan na sayang pala dapat pumasok na ako. Di sana meron na akong ilan to? 17% na profit. But no, that's not the point. Okay, the fact na hindi siya pasok sa standard, it doesn't align, the price doesn't align, or the price action doesn't align with your standard, set standard, don't take the trade. Regardless kung lumipad man yan. Almost, di ba? Almost. Or my target is here. My buying interest is here. But the price is hanggang dito lang. So, okay lang yun. Hindi na natin nahabulin yan. Okay? So, pag hinabol mo yan, it's a FOMO na FOMO ka na. And it's not a good place na mag-enter kasi mafo-FOMO ka. Okay? But with the ongoing war, there's no solution yet. There's no resolution between the two countries. So I think the price of oil will continue to go, or at least to hover between $118 per barrel hanggang $85 per barrel. Okay? So that's it. Meron ba kayong question, mga sir? Meron kayong mga currencies na tinetrade na gusto ninyong silipin? Yung technicals. Sir Elmer, Sir Narciso, and Sir Zaro, do you have anything na question or currencies na gusto ninyong i-check? Wala? Sure? Sure na? Going once? Going twice? Thrice? Wala na talaga. Okay, so let me just prepare the slides. So what we are going to talk about, since most of you, bago naman, and I think si Sir Narciso, I think na-attendan na to ni Sir Narciso itong topic na to, but refresher na lang din to, kasi very relevant itong gusto kong i-discuss sa inyo. It is very relevant with what is going on, sa market. I think makaka-relate at yun nga, relevant siya sa behavior ng market ngayon. Dahil nga, ang market ngayon, hindi na siya kagaya ng dati, di ba? Na pag nilagay mo yung support and resistance, talagang pambihira yung price sumusunod. Di ba? The price follows your trading plan most of the time, no? But right now, it doesn't work that way. Not anymore, at least. Hindi na ganoon ng behavior ng market ngayon. So, ngayon pag-uusapan natin is about fundamentals. Yan, fundamental analysis. Kasi it's very important that we have an idea pagdating sa fundamentals, or it's good na meron tayong alam sa technical analysis. Kaya nating mag-technical analysis, kaya mong basahin ang chart. Pero it is also good na may alam ka rin kung paano nagwo-work ang economics. Basic economics lang. Not necessarily the nitty-gritty of economics, but at least you have a slight idea of how economics work. How economic data, how to interpret economic data. Yan. So, yan yung pag-uusapan natin ngayong gabi. So, also, I want this webinar to be interactive. If meron kayong question, if you have question, please let me know. Please feel free to interrupt yung ating discussion. Okay? Without further ado, let me share my screen once again. Before that, let me read the risk disclaimer. Financial market trading such as Forex and CFDs carries associated risks. It is generally not suitable for individuals with limited resources or minimal investment or trading experience. While there are risk management plans, we still advise clients to invest capital they can afford to lose. Previous positive results do not guarantee future returns. Any opinions we provide are for educational purposes only and should not be considered as an investment advice. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dan. So I'm the market analyst of DuPoint. So I'll be the one discussing the fundamental analysis with you tonight. Okay. Fundamental analysis from the word itself, fundamentals. In forex trading or any, particularly in forex trading, because that's what we are doing here, no? Ayan yung mga major na tinatrade natin, forex or the currencies and commodities. Fundamental analysis involves assessing economic, political and social factors that affect a currency's value. So yung mga chine-check natin na mga economic indicators, involved diyan yung tawag doon, the interest rate. Yan. Yan yung mga bagay na chine-check natin, the interest rate, the inflation, employment data, ano pa ba? The central bank policies and geopolitical events. So those are the things na ini-interpret natin, na karaniwan nating nakikita or naririnig. Kaya nga 'di ba, every time na magkakaroon tayo ng webinars or every webinars natin, pinapahapyawan natin yung fundamentals, dinadaanan natin yung Forex Factory. Yan, yun yung mga datas na ini-interpret natin, interest rate, inflation, employment data, central bank policies, and geopolitical events. So, lahat yan nakikita natin sa Forex Factory. So, if you are really serious and interested to dig deeper and to participate in this type of business, so ngayon pa lang, aralin na natin itong mga bagay na to. Sanayin na natin yung ating mga sarili, be familiarized with this datas. All of these datas can be seen, or we can see this data sa ating Forex Factory. Okay? Now, let's talk about inflation. No? Bakit natin kailangang aralin ng inflation? O ano muna ba yan? Inflation, by definition, it is a gradual loss of purchasing power that is reflected in a broad rise in prices for goods and services over time. Common misconception when we talk about inflation, this is all about pagtaas ng presyo, the price is getting higher. Well, half truth, no? Inflation can be defined that way, but the real definition of inflation is a gradual loss of purchasing power. Meaning to say, the currency na meron ka ay nagde-devalue, or nagde-depreciate. Yung value or yung kaya niyang bilhin, ayan nga, the purchasing power ay bumababa. Nagde-devaluate. So, classic example, okay? 2005, who among you here, buhay na ng 2005? I think lahat, no? Siguro mga ano naman na to. Ano na po ba kayo? Gen Z, mga Gen X? Mga boomer? Wala naman siguro, no? Okay. Last 2005, your 20 pesos. Yan, 20 pesos. With 20 pesos, you can already have, yan, soft drinks, pop cola, you have bread, if you have vices, cigarette, candy, and 1 pack of shampoo. Okay? Everything for 20 pesos. As a matter of fact, meron pang change yan. Meron pang sukli. But fast forward to today or 2025 or 2026, your 20 pesos can only buy this soft drinks. 20 pesos. Imagine ganyan ang binaksak or nawalang value sa kanya. Kaya mong bumili last 2025, itong 5 na yan. Pero ngayon, ito na lang ang kaya niyang bilhin. Yan po ang muka ng inflation. Okay? But not all the time inflation is bad. Because the ideal annual inflation rate ay dapat between 2 and 3%. Okay? Not all the time inflation is bad. Why? Kasi investors won't enter the Philippines if the price of goods and services are too low. So it has to be balanced. It has to be in between 2 and 3%. Okay? Yan ang minomonitor ng central bank. 2 and 3%. Any numbers that will deviate from that, no more no less between 2 and 3%. Okay? 1% is too bad. I mean, 1% below 2% is bad. Above 3% is also bad. That's why it has to be between 2 and 3%. Inflation. Now, how do you measure inflation? How do we know if there's an inflation in, say, for example, US or here in the Philippines? You will know based on CPI, Consumer Price Index. So the Consumer Price Index is just it's a survey, I would say. Sa ano yan, sa US, for example, sa US, ang CPI Consumer Price Index nire-release every month. So parang imagine ninyo, it's a basket of goods and services. Diba? For example, in that particular basket, last quarter, for a certain amount of money, you can put their eggs, you can put rice, what else? Meat, milk, yan, meat, milk, rice, soap, yan, 4 items. But fast forward to today, for the same amount of money, ang kaya mo na lang ilagay dun sa market, ay sa basket na yon is soap and rice na lang. Okay? Wala na yung karne, 'di ba? Wala na yung milk. So, ibig sabihin, there is an inflation na kailangang i-address. Okay? Kaya mahalagang data, watch out po itong CPI. Okay? Now, kapag mataas ang CPI, if the CPI is high, it only means that there is an inflation. Okay? There is an inflation. Now, there are two reasons bakit meron tayong inflation, the causes of inflation. There are so many. As a matter of there's so many causes, but we will be discussing two main reasons. Number one, there's so much money in the circulation. This is the reason why central banks around the world cannot just print money. They cannot do that. Why? Because if there's too much money in the circulation, inflation will rise. Tataas. 'Di ba? Kapag maraming pera ang mga tao, anong tendency? They will buy anything they want. They will feel that they can buy anything. 'Di ba? Pag meron siyang hawak na maraming pera. This is the reason why every December, every holiday season, every Christmas season, ang presyo ng mga bilihin ay tumataas. Why? Because maraming pera ang mga tao. 'Di ba? The 13th month pay, Christmas bonus, ano pa, meron pang mga tinatawag sa some company ay nagbibigay ng tax refund, meaning to say people has a lot of money. So they can buy anything. Diba? Anything they want. So it triggers what? It triggers inflation. Kasi nga maraming pera ang tao. Pag maraming pera ang tao, tumataas ang demand. Ayan. Tama. Taas ang demand, bumababa ang supply. Ayan. There's so much money in the circulation. Pangalawang reason why there's inflation is growing economy. Diba? I've told you before, not all the time inflation is bad. Because if if there is an inflation, it only means that the local economy or the economy itself is growing. Okay, so who among you here who have been to BGC and Makati or some other highly urbanized area or at least tourist destination like Boracay, um, Palawan, 'di ba? There's a slight difference when it comes to price. The price on those mentioned areas are slightly higher than the other local areas. Tama? Magkaiba yung presyo. Why? Because the local economy in that specific area is growing. Okay, yung mga businesses doon nagtatayo, doon nagkakaroon ng expansion, so growing ang economy. Sabi ko nga sa inyo, not all the time inflation is bad. Because if there's no inflation, no investor will be willing to invest if the price is too low. That's why it has to be, yun nga, between 2 and 3%. Now, what will happen if, let's say, the inflation is too high? Of course, the government will not just allow na ang inflation is too high. Ang kawawa dito yung mga minimum wage earner or tayo mga pangkaraniwang tao. Why? Because our currency is hindi nakakasabay doon sa pagtaas ng presyo. Okay? Speaking of pagtaas ng 'di ba? Ang sinusulong nila ngayon is pagtaas ng sweldo. Ngayon, 'di ba, gagawing magiging 1,200 yung minimum wage. Okay naman 'yan, kaya lang I think it will do more harm than good. Iwan ko kung mag-a-agree kayo. Kasi ang mga matatamaan dito is the mga small businesses. Yung mga SMEs. Maraming mga SMEs or mga negosyo ang mamamatay. Okay, why? Because, yun nga, pag sobrang taas na, imagine 1,200 pa sa sweldohin mo per minimum wage. Di ba? So, I think kailangan pang pag-isipan yan. Hindi ko sinasabi na, hindi ako against dyan, pero meron akong sentimiento sa bagay na yan. Okay? Kasi, I think, probably makakapag-trigger pa yan ng mas malalang problema kung sakali na ma-implement yan. Okay? So, ang magandang i-address talaga is the inflation. Okay? Alam nyo ba that here in the Philippines, since 1958, since 1958, the inflation rate, the average inflation year on year is 7%. Meaning to say, if you have 1 million pesos in the bank that you will deposit this year, next year, the purchasing power of that 1 million is less 7%. Less than 7%. Then the following year, another less 7%. That is why forex trading is a very good source of income to hedge against inflation. Okay? Because you will only be targeting 7% increment on your initial capital. Your only target is 7% per year just to combat the inflation. Okay? Kaya nga, mahirap if you have only one source of income. If you only rely on your 8 to 5 job, okay, I think kakainin ka lang ng inflation. Okay? Kakainin lang ng inflation yung yung ipon mo, your savings and all. Hindi mo nararamdaman kasi yung face value is still 1 million, but the purchasing power, the intrinsic value of that 1 million is different. It has already been losing its value by 7% every year. Year on year, 7%. Okay? Now, how do the government intervene? Kung talagang sobrang taas ng inflation, hindi tayo nakakasabay, how do they implement a remedy? Or how do they combat inflation? Through interest rate. Yan. So, familiar with interest rate? By definition, interest rate is the percentage charged by a lender to a borrower for a use of money or the percentage earned on an investment over a specified period of time. Interest rate, very simple. For example, Sir Narciso, I would like to borrow money, let's say 100,000 pesos. Then next year, I will pay it back with an interest rate or with an interest of 10%. So I'll pay you back with 110,000 pesos. So 10%. Simple. Interest rate. Now, how do interest rate combat inflation? Paano nalalabanan ng interest rate ang inflation? Now, magsisimula yan sa central bank. So who can tweak, who can raise interest rate? Here in the Philippines, central bank. In the US, the Federal Reserve. Powell, si Powell, yan. Siya ang may kapangyarihan to increase or to lower interest rate. Now, paano napapababa ng interest rate ang inflation? So, simulan natin sa context natin dito sa Pilipinas, Central Bank or the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas. They have the power to raise or to lower interest rate to combat inflation. Now, let's say, the central bank, it is the entity or so-called the mother of all banks. The local banks here, BPI, Metro Bank, China Bank. Ang bangko ng mga yan, Bangko Sentral. So kung tayo mga local depositor, ang mga bangko natin, yung mga nabanggit, BPI, Metro Bank, China Bank, but yung mga bangko natin, meron silang bangko. Yun nga, yung central bank. Yung mga bangko na yan, meron yung tinatawag na kasa. Current account, savings account. Yun yung laman ng laman ng vault nila. So, meron lang silang threshold na kapag sumobra dyan yung amount, they will automatically deposit it sa bank. For example, right now, the inflation rate is too high. So, the central bank will say to the local banks, all right, banks, BPI, China Bank, the inflation rate is high. There's too much money in the circulation. Okay, that's why the inflation is high. Now, lahat ng mga excess money ninyo, I will keep it muna. I will keep it for you, your excess money, just to minimize the money in the circulation. But in return, I will give you much higher interest rate. Example, the central bank will increase the interest rate from 3%, gagawin niyang 4% agad. 4% agad, 100 basis points. From 3%, gagawin niyang 4%. Sa ating mga maliliit na depositor, maliit yun. Pero kung pag pinag-uusapan natin billions of pesos, malaking malaking impact yan. Okay, of course, the local banks ay mag-a-agree na okay, ko muna, i-deposit ko muna. I'm going back to work. Sure, Sir Zaro. Sana nga tayo. Mag-ano sila, ibibigay nila muna, patatago muna nila kay Central Bank. Kasi nga, merong 1%. Now, paano niyan makokontrol yung inflation? Or paano tayo maapektuhan yan? Sabi nga natin kanina, kailangan bawasan yung pera sa circulation. Okay, so tinago yung pera. So yun na, bawas na yung umiikot na pera. Now, pagdating sa mga local businesses, for example, yung mga nandito, si Sir Elmer. Yan, Sir Elmer, for example, mag-expand siya ng business. The easiest way to put up a business is, of course, number one requirement, you have a capital. Okay, and the easiest way to raise capital is through bank loan. Okay, so for example, ang bank mo ay BPI. You will go to BPI, then you will ask BPI to lend you some money, let's say 100 million, to put up to expand your operation, to expand your business. Now that BPI will tell you, nako, Sir Elmer, I do not have the money because pinatago ko na kay Central Bank. Nasa Central Bank yung pera ko ngayon. But I can pull out, okay, I can liquidate some of my asset to accommodate your request. But of course, with a much higher interest rate. Okay, from sabihin natin 3% dati, ginawa niyang 4.25. Pinasa sa'yo 4.25. So ikaw, as a business owner, in your point of view, the loan is right now is very expensive. Last quarter, it's 3%. Then right now, it's 4%. So you will be discouraged. Okay? You will be discouraged or not to borrow. You will postpone borrowing money because the interest rate is high. If you do not have the fund, wala ka ng fund, ano mangyari? Hindi ka makakapag-expand ng business. Your business expansion will not be implemented. You cannot expand your business. If you cannot expand your business, you cannot create what? Opportunity for the people. You cannot create job. If the people has no job, they will have no money. If they will have no money, they cannot buy what? They cannot buy basic necessities. If they cannot buy basic necessities or those things that they want, the demand will decrease. Okay? If the demand decrease, also the inflation will follow. The inflation will decrease as well. So, ganyan ka-powerful. That's how powerful interest rate is. That's why, when we when we visit Forex Factory, be watchful in pay attention dito sa interest rate, inflation, okay? And the CPI. Now, ano ang pakialam nating mga trader dyan? Now, how do we use that or all those information? How do we use those information in our trading strategy? Okay? Usually, if the inflation muna, if the inflation or the CPI is high, mind you if the inflation is high, most of the time, the currency is getting stronger. The currency will become strong. Lumalakas ang currency kapag mataas ang CPI. Okay? Dahil kapag mataas ang CPI, ibig sabihin mataas ang inflation, at kapag mataas ang inflation, there's a possibility of rate hike. At kapag ang interest rate ay nagtaas, okay, lumalakas din ang currency. Now, the question is, bakit at paano? That is because of what we called carry trade. So, how does carry trade works? Paano nag-work yan? For example, ito, mainit-init ito. USD Japanese Yen. Di ba? USD Japanese Yen, example natin. USD versus Japanese or JPY. So, ito pala ang tinatawag natin na carry trade. Tama ba spelling ng carry trade ko? How do you how do you spell carry trade? Ayan, double R. I'm sorry. And carry trade. Carry trade. Ayan. Lakihan natin. Bigyan natin ng yan, USD Japanese yan. Now, ang carry trade is very simple in theory. Let's say the US dollar, the US government, their interest rate is at 2% only. Okay, 2% only. Both Japanese yen and USD is at 2%. Now, let's say that the inflation rate of this or of Japan in Japan is too high. Mataas ang inflation. 'Di ba? We've mentioned kanina na kapag mataas ang inflation, ano ang kasunod? Rate hike. If the inflation is too high, the Japanese government may intervene by raising their interest rate. Let's say they're gonna raise it from 2%, they will gonna raise it 100 basis points. So that's 3%. So the big banks or the hedge funds, the institutional traders, the investment houses, they will see this as an opportunity to do carry trade. Okay? So how does it work? So basically, what they will do is they're going to borrow money from US because it's only 2%. 2% lang yan eh. 2% lang. Then, what they were gonna do with the money that they have loaned, that they have borrowed, they're gonna loan it naman papunta sa Japan because it's 3%. So, kikita sila ng 1% because you're going to convert US dollar to Japanese yen. The demand for Japanese yen ay tumataas. Sabi nga natin, di ba? Kapag mataas ang demand, lumalakas ang currency. And this particular scenario ay makikita natin yan once the Japanese government intervenes. So kapag lumakas itong Japanese yen, okay? Pag lumakas ang Japanese yen, hihina itong dollar. So, ang makikita natin, kaya nga binabantayan natin, 'di ba? The Japanese government will intervene. Either they're going to buy their own currency or implement a rate hike. So, makikita natin that the USD JPY will finally go down. USD JPY will go down. So I hope na nag-gets, nakukuha yung pinaka-theory, nakukuha yung ano niya, tawag dito, pinaka-gist or the idea, nag-gets naman siguro, carry trade. Next, non-farm payroll. Now, why is it important? So some traders, they call non-farm payroll as the mother of all data. Non-farm payroll is the data that shows how many jobs were actually created last month for the US government or in the US. Non-farm payroll. Okay? So let's have a context first. Yung economy, the economy of USA is built heavily on consumerism. Consumerism. Meaning to say, by consumerism theory, the more people consume, it's good for their economy. Nakukuha? Consumerism. The more na maraming tao ang nagko-consume, good for their economy. Now, if the people or the Americans doesn't have job, then they do not have salary. They won't receive any salary. They won't have enough money. Kapag wala silang money, they cannot buy things. If they cannot buy things, consumption, what? Decreases. Kapag mababa ang consumption, yun nga, bad for their economy. Another thing, in the US, there's a law that if you do not have job, the US government will have to give you assistance. Or dito sa atin, sa Pilipinas, ang tawag ayuda. So, gagastos ang government. It's an expenses sa part ng gobyerno. So, it's not gonna be good kapag mababa or mababa yung non-farm payroll. So, usually, ang non-farm payroll ay nire-release every first Friday of the month. First Friday of the month ang release ng non-farm payroll. Now, kapag pangit ang data ng non-farm payroll, lower than forecast, so expect that the dollar will weaken. So, vice versa, if the non-farm payroll data turns out to be higher than the forecasted numbers, then we expect that the dollar will strengthen or will be stronger against other currency. Okay? Do you have any question? I think that's the end of my presentation. Meron bang question, Sir Narciso and Sir Elmer, or any inputs? None? Wala pong tanong? Sir Narciso and Sir Elmer, or meron kayong idadagdag, gustong idagdag? Kung walang tanong, please type 1 para alam ko lang na wala. Okay? 1, ayan, okay. So gets naman. So kung wala na pong question, I think that's the end of my presentation. So invite ko na lang po kayo on kailan ba? Tawag dito Tuesday for our Forex 101. Again, it's 6 p.m. And also, I would like to encourage you na have your account funded kasi meron pong promotion si DuPoint. Meron pong promotion si DuPoint i-release on uh, Monday. Monday, May 18. May 18. Meron siyang tawag dito. Merong promotion. Ang tawag sa promotion niya ay let me check Let me check. The promotion is called Apex League. It's an Apex League promo. So, the more you trade, you will get points. So, kapag official na, we will have a separate, we will have a separate webinar for this particular promo or particular marketing efforts ni DuPoint. So, basically, kapag nagte-trade, the more na meron kayong tinitrade, is nakakakuha kayo ng points. And yung points na yon can be converted or can be claim. May mga katumbas na price. So, may mga cellphones, not just cellphones, but Apple products. No, so, maganda yung mga papremyo. So, I think, Tuesday sa second webinar natin or first webinar natin next week for Forex 101, ilalatag natin yung mga terms and conditions and all. Okay? Sa link naman, Sir Elmer, kung sino po yung nag-invite sa inyo, sir, ipapadadala niya po sa inyo yung registration din. Okay? Or pwede na rin po kayong sumama sa ating tawag dito sa ating